So I ran the whole season on this Vevor pond filter, and this is what it looks like on the inside. I've never pulled this thing apart actually. So you basically just take this snap ring off of here, and then basically at the bottom of the filter, you have these like bio balls. So those sit at the bottom. There's a bunch of these bio balls in there to basically, the theory is to collect beneficial bacteria. So there's a ton of those in there. And then you've just got this series of filter foams there, and you can turn this right here, and that turns all of the filters. I'm not going to do that, but basically you can turn this and it just turns all of those so that it can kind of compress the foam, and then you can just direct it out. And if anyone's ever seen any of my other previous videos, I've kind of explained how that works. But I'm going to clean this thing up because I'm not just going to have it sitting like this all winter. So I'll clean it up so that it's all ready for spring. But I just wanted to pull this thing open and do a quick video of what it looks like on the inside. Very basic, but I was actually really impressed with this thing all year. This thing really did a great job, and I've turned it out many times and then used all the water that I pump out of that hose to water plants and whatnot. And it's just an easy way to do partial water changes if I ever want to as well. So because the pump that's sitting in the water is constantly pumping on this thing, so you can just direct it out into the garden or into a bucket or whatever, and then redirect it back into the pond. But you just turn the handle and it just cleans up these filter foams, and they're really not all that bad. I mean, like I said, this thing's been running since I think the end of March or early April, and it's now getting close to November, and they really don't look that bad. So I'm actually quite impressed with this, and I'm toying with the idea of building a larger pond, and I would definitely look up this filter again. So this is that Vevor filter. Bought it with my own money. I didn't get any sort of free unit or whatever, but yeah, I will definitely look for this filter again if I need it for another project. So now that I cleaned this thing up, I just wanted to do kind of a quick little rundown, give my take on it over the last, I don't know, the whole summer really. I used this. So I did kind of clean it out, sprayed it out on the inside, cleaned it up a little bit. And it's pretty much ready now for next spring. But basically, you just have this, and that just kind of loosens like that. And then I'll kind of take everything out of it so people can see it. And here it is, kind of broke down. So those are all the sponges. And to get a better look at the rotating handle mechanism, let me spin this thing around here. Right there is the device that spins the foam. So when you have this handle here on the outside, and you can turn it both ways, basically this thing spins around. If I can do this without putting the phone down, but yeah. So that's how this works. So this thing just turns the whole sponge assembly, and then it just kind of squeezes out the sponges. So you got those hard, basically plastic fins right there, paddles, I should say, and they just kind of squeeze that thing as it rolls all the way around it. And that in turn allows it to basically discharge out of this hose right here. So it's a pretty cool setup. And then in the top here, you have 3 screws, or I should say 4 screws that can come out. And that is where the UV light is. And you can actually set it off to 12 or 24 hours. So it's actually a really cool setup there. And then this is inside the bucket. This thing's big. I mean, this thing's like the size of, roughly the size of one of my Fluval FX6 filters. It's pretty huge. But then you have basically those bio balls in here, and that's it. So this just sits in there. This whole unit drops into there, and then that snap ring just kind of comes around it and clamps onto it. And it's real basic, but it did work really well. So that is my quick little review of the Vevor. And this model is their biggest one. It's the biggest one I found. It's the CPF-10000 is the model on this one. So that is the quick little review.